Well, hello, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. Forgive my voice today. It's a little crazy. I had band practice last night, and we really let it eat. So
A little hardcore in the mic, huh?
yeah, a little bit, man. I'll try to sort of stay back from it a little bit. But yeah, man, we wrote 2 new songs last night in the span of about 3 hours, and damn near got them wrapped up, and just really got into it. And next thing you know, like I can talk fine. It's just a little sore, you know.
Let the emotions flow with the words, huh?
That's right, man. That's right. So I'm not going to waste any words today. Keep it under so many characters.
At least you can speak. Most people would be like,
well, that's why you do warm-ups before. If I don't do my at least a 10-minute vocal warm-up before practice, which I normally just do on the way there in the car, I'll pay for it afterwards.
That makes sense.
So it's not so much like you're stretching things out, preparing it, but it really you get the benefit more so after the fact. Like, I mean, it obviously helps you do what you got to do, but it's really better after.
I would say all the artists do it. They all talk about their vocal warm-ups before hitting the stage. Makes sense.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm an artist, but we're having fun.
I say you are. You're making something. That's the definition of an artist. I think it's creating something. So
I guess so.
Whether it's music, sculpting, painting,
Right.
I even think a landscaper or like an architect, someone who builds, I consider them an artist because you're going off of a sketch.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
To make this.
Right.
So, like, it is an art because most people can't just walk up and go, I can do that. No,
right, yeah. I surprised myself when I realized that I could do it. Both the being in front of people, the actual physical act of doing it without, and actually being, not being tone deaf and, being able to carry a tune, carry a note.
I wouldn't see you having a problem being in front of people.
No, I got, it came pretty easy, but I think that to, well, a couple of things. One, my military career led me to being in front of a lot of people and speaking. And 2, my childhood, having to move so frequently throughout my childhood, allowed me the ability to sort of never meet a stranger, if you will.
No, very true.
You know what I mean? And it's not that I ever go out searching. I just keep everything open. I'm like an antenna. I let it in. If somebody, wants to talk, let's talk. If somebody's in a bad way, I get out of the way. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm sidestep. Here you go. It's your day, not mine. Like, I'm just here to get a bottle of milk or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So having that band practice last night was really rad. And finished up what was a very cool 4 days. I had a buddy of mine, George, from down in Florida, come into town.
That's right.
And George is who I drove down and saw, and so he came up here and hung out with us for a few days.
You brought him to some of the hottest weather we had.
He brought it up here. And then this morning, I told him, I said, this is crazy, but now you're back home. It was like 68 degrees at like 7 this morning, So thanks for taking it back with you.
Yeah, it was 60s this morning here, but the humidity, it's like it's not definitely 60. Like 80. Yeah,
man. So having him here this weekend really helped me make a decision that I've known was coming, but I didn't know how I was going to approach it. I didn't exactly know if when I told this story to somebody else, like a third party like George, how they would react, and if it would be like out of like, if it would be sort of like cautious, like, oh no, you shouldn't do that, or hey man, that's a good call or whatever. I was very, very nervous about it, but I ended up talking to him about me and my future with Beryl and where I thought I stood and what I thought I wanted to do in the very near future. And allowed me to come to a decision. So before we get into how awesome, the weekend was and how important we think it is that you have somebody like a good friend that that there are no boundaries, that there are no taboos. You talk about anything, you say whatever you want, and that person's going to respond out of compassion and not judge, right? I think everybody needs to have somebody like that in their life.
Yeah.
I don't know if we all do, but I do, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very proud of that. I hope that at least one of my friends views me in that same light. So having said that, so I've decided to turn Barrel Brands off, and by the time this airs, I will have made this public. I'm doing that soon. I'm going to sort of regroup. I'm going to take some time for myself, and I'm going to see what kind of inventory I have left. And from there, our society members, which are our monthly subscribers, who have just, they don't know it yet, but they will when they hear this. I just sent out our last society membership shipment today, and I got to let our members know about that. So anyway, going to turn the keys off, going to check inventory, going to get some stuff back out on the store so people can come and stock up on hopefully what is their favorite, before we permanently turn everything off. It's been one hell of a wild ride, and that's cliche, but it's so true. It's provided so many things, so many wonderful things for my family and I don't mean monetarily. The farthest thing from it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's provided a warm blanket of sort of love and protection, if you will, around my family and I. I'm not sure if anybody else knows that, or if anybody else knows what I mean, any other business owners or somebody that's gone out on a crazy adventure and somebody always had your back. Man, it's provided a lot. And more than anything, it's provided something for me to focus on over a matter of a few years that kept me busy, that kept me engaged, but also allowed me to step back and really take stock of my mental health.
Yeah, and also I think allowed to let that side of your brain create.
Yeah, let it just go to town,
because
create.
All the different, blends you've created over the years, it's one of those things of like, I don't remember which one it was, but like, how do you, to think of how you come up with the ingredients to do this.
Right.
And you think I'm going to put this into a barrel.
Right.
It's going to come out smelling like shit.
Totally.
But, you think like putting, Madagascar vanilla bean in stuff, like, all right, who the hell?
Yeah. It's
not like you're just going down, hey, Schnooks, I need some Madagascar.
No.
But yeah, you're not getting your ingredients at local little things. Some of the stuff you got
right.
to do local, but like,
yeah,
I think that allowed the different aspects of your brain to turn off other things to allow you to just put all this creative energy and energy that needed to go somewhere into something good.
You know what I really think along with that? Because I think you're right. I think there's a lot of rights in this story. But I think more than anything, it allowed me to focus on making other people happy. It allowed me to focus on getting in touch with my compassionate side and my empathetic side that I've always had, but I've always sort of hidden behind with comedy and laughter, or, drama and rage. Mm-hmm. Man, it's I could get really emotional right now about this, and I'm going to try my best not to. But it has provided and allowed for me to regain my mental health, my confidence, and my place in this world, so that now I can do things hopefully that are greater and bigger than Barrel Brands.
I think so.
And maybe something where I don't have to sell something to garner somebody's ear, something that allows us to congregate and something that allows us to interact, but doesn't require the purchase of anything to complete that circle. And I think that something is this podcast.
Yeah.
I think that it's time. I think I owe it to myself and to you and to us, this team and our listeners, to be able to focus a little more on what really, really helps get me through the day. As somebody that's battled with mental health for most of their life, it's very important to me to get this message out there. And I haven't spent any time pushing the brand or the message. I've just been publishing.
Yeah.
Editing, publishing, film, edit, publish, over and over. And now that we're into our 50s, it's like, okay, I want to take a breath and step back and look at this and say, how can we move forward without getting the money involved to get our message out there, and really spread the word.
How do we take it to another level with, exactly like you said, like Barrel, obviously you had a commodity people buy without being like, oh, you want to listen,
Yeah, man.
But most podcasts aren't that way anyway. You're not paying to listen to them.
Right, and I don't ever want to
And
do
we're
that.
not we're not doing ads either. As you guys would
No.
listen to us, the
Right.
first 5 minutes of the podcast is us. It's not brought to you by
Right.
You don't hear us to the end. We're not cutting for segments of sponsors.
It's always been very quietly brought to you by Barrel Brands. Barrel Brands has always fronted the bill and taken the bite out of it financially or whatever for this to happen. So again, very, very grateful for that. So Barrel has allowed me to make friends with people that I would have never had the opportunity to, whether they were somebody you know the name of or not. They meant something to me, and they were very important to me. Whether it was a retailer, reseller, or vendor, whatever you want to call them, whether it was Jimmy Harper helping to create the brand, or Jordan McCreary helping to spread the good word, helping to set up events. Whether it was you, Sheldon, Hugh, Mark, any of those guys. And I know I'm not saying all the names, but I could. It would be a laundry list. But
I'm sure you'd have
you guys know who you are, and you know that I would never leave you out intentionally. I hope you never felt left out, because there were times that I felt like I couldn't give back enough to people that were so generous, so I just declined their time. And I said I didn't need the help.
I don't think anybody would ever take that from you. They probably, wanted to offer because they enjoyed your company and what you're doing.
Right.
And they enjoyed the events that you were going to. I think if you did decline their help, they just assumed, okay, hey, he's got it. But I think that's with a lot of people who have businesses. You can offer up help, and they may take you, but I also think too, if you really needed the help bigger, more so than something small,
right,
you probably wouldn't ask it, because then I think you internally would think you're bombarding them with too much.
Yeah. And much like us bowing out of the tattoo expos, we couldn't make the old school or the most recent Tattoo the Lou. And it wasn't because we didn't want to. It was just simply because we couldn't. I couldn't go back to the well. The restaurants were flailing. They were trying their damnedest to keep their doors open. They could not afford to donate food.
No,
and Barrel Brands could not afford to pick up the bill again like we had in the past. I couldn't go back to ask people to help again that have helped so many times. And at the end of the day, I just could not mentally wrap my head around doing it again. Not because we didn't get rewarded for it. There were accolades and there were lots of handshakes. But we busted our ass and we deserved every one we got.
Yeah.
So whenever it was time for me to say, hey, I can't keep performing at the level that I've been performing at, so I'm going to bow out. I hope that those people also understand.
Well, I think that they did, but also that's wise on your part that if you're not going to give the 110%, then don't do it.
Yeah.
With me running the gym before, they were always wanting donations. We were trying to get outside businesses, and they created this laundry list of local businesses, and I'm like, wait, you get a hold of so-and-so and so-and-so? I'm like, no, I'm not going to keep pestering these owners who are now getting back to normal, getting their regulars, their crowds, maybe starting to cater and stuff like this, or have these parties that got put off. I'm not going to try and hound them for money when that money should be going to their pockets and their employees who had a hell of a lot harder time than most.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, some businesses thrived and did phenomenal during this crazy, ordeal over the past year. But I'm not going to hound somebody, to donate when I know what they went through.
Yeah, man.
And that's the hard part. And I think that's how you are. You're not going to sit there and if you can't give it the effort it deserves, you're not going to do it.
Yeah. And, somebody asked me this, so somebody in my circle that I've been confiding in with this decision, they said, man, you got to sell it. Why don't you sell it? You can provide a lot of money, sell it. And my answer, which I don't think I had at the moment, I think it was like, yeah, I mean, I know you're right if you look at it in that light. But the way that I'm viewing this is that Barrel Brands is mine.
Yeah.
And without being attached to it at a level, whatever it is that Don Miguel Ruiz talks about in his 5 level of attachments, whatever level it is that I'm at of my attachment with Barrel Brands, I'm letting that go. But I know that I did have an attachment to it. And I think I always will have a fondness and an attachment to Barrel Brands. I think that I don't want to allow it to get turned into anything other than what I ever intended it for. Mm-hmm. And how could I ever do that if I turn the keys over to someone else whom has no stake in my happiness?
It goes back to the 4 agreements. Always be doing your best.
Yeah.
And if you would sell it, you would cut ties, but it's your creation, so you can say there's still that little bit of touch that you always have. That next person may not give it the best that you did, and then here you go and relinquish it, sell it, and then all that quality goes down.
Yeah, you have no idea, and it's not that I think that nobody could do what I'm doing. I'm sure somebody could do it much better. It's that I don't have the cycles in my brain or in my actual day. I don't have the cycles anymore to give to Barrel that it deserves. Mm-hmm. So not being able to do that, then, okay, it's done. I'm going to wash my hands of it, and that chapter is gone. If something else comes back and I get a wild hair one day to do something similar, I can. Well, but I can only do that if I don't sell the intellectual property and the proprietary information of how I do it. So I don't want to, cut off my nose to spite my face. I have no idea what the future holds, but I want it to be very open.
Yeah, but I look at it as you're putting it in the back burner.
Yeah.
For when the itch comes of something else creative.
Yeah.
It's no different. Barrel Brands, yes, was a hair, skin, beard, tattoo oil, and you have balms and all that. But that's not to say that Barrel Brands has another entity that sparks on it, because when Nike started, they were shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, now, hell, we're not even going to go down the list.
Yeah, what are they?
They got everything. That's what companies do. And then they have subsidiaries off of the main ones that you have no idea are tied back to the big boy, company. Endless possibilities. It's just what will finally hit you to, get the creative juices flowing to put effort into a new project. And that's no different than like we were talking before we hopped on. Like, I helped my parents out yesterday doing some stuff that they didn't need to be doing on their roof. I was power washing stuff and cleaning off the roof from a tree that overhangs. Like, you'll find your creative energy to put into things, to do things, and there's an endless list to do. Yeah. It's not like it's short of. You'll just, okay, I'll do this, and then all of a sudden something will spark, and then it's like, okay, here's where my effort's going to go.
Yeah. So, so I'm retiring. That's point blank. I'm retiring. I'm closing Barrel. It will have already been done by the time you hear this, I think. And thank you guys. I think it's abundantly clear how thankful I am, but I just want to throw that out into the ether. So thank you all. For anybody that ever sent me a message where they thought they were bothering me, you weren't. You were bringing a smile to my face. Yeah. You made me feel loved and needed and wanted, like I had never allowed myself to feel before. And I hope that sparked something in at least a few other people to do something to put a pep in your step. Maybe it helped somebody else too.
I did. You saw, like, I'm sure a lot of the people who had, some skin issues that it helped with. That was early on. That was the real motivator. Early. Yeah, the calluses that are on our lifters' hands. It's great for, let alone you got to put in your hands anyway to get on your beard or your head. But it helps. Smells good. Like
there's all sorts of great things that it did.
You got the laundry list again of what it did, but it helped people. Not that, but I'm not looking at it as what it helped people. Not on the terms of, yes, I created this product and it worked. I think you help people on more of an emotional, personal connection level as they got to know you. They got to know what you represented. They got to know some of us who helped out with things at events.
Yeah.
All those guys that, did the Tattoo the Lou or other things that you did. They got to meet the people. Because like the one event, it was like some pig fest downtown O'Fallon, right at the block from me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I came up and, sitting talking with people.
Yeah.
And I remember, and let alone I've been to a few of yours, but like you talking with, oh yeah, I'm a vet. What did you do? What'd you do? Like,
Right.
There
were definitely a lot of connections.
It wasn't about the product. It was the connection and the stories that you and us guys and gals were having with the people, and thought it was just how interesting and badass to hear all the work that went into this, concoction, this elixir in a sense of an oil, when most are like, oh, you just don't just do this. And then, no,
Right.
that bitch has been sitting in a barrel somewhere in this
Right.
dude's house garage, or when you had the,
Yeah.
the place, like for months to a year. Like it got to see the investment of what you put in, and it got to tell a story back. But
Yeah.
at all these events, the people, would talk. They would talk to other people. They would overhear conversations. It gave people just, I think, a better chance to talk with each other at public events where they may not have gone to, you might, the pig thing. You go, let's go see what people are doing. We're going to obviously probably get some food.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Plex Games sponsoring a CrossFit competition. Okay.
Right.
People coming up, talking like that. Tattoo the Lou. Obviously, you're getting people from all different walks of life then that get to intermingle a story that can have so many different lines going off that you talk to one gentleman that probably talked to another buddy or guy he served with. Oh, it just.
That was always
kind
the
of
point.
spiderwebbed.
It was always the point. The point was always to get people together that wouldn't normally be together. They had no business being in the same room. But once they got there, they realized that they were all sort of the same person.
Yeah.
They reflected each other like mirrors, and everybody got along so well. And there was never, drama. There was never, it was just a lot of love.
Well, I'll say for Burning of the Barrel.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Perfect. That's when
that's when Once Films came out.
I was just gonna say Once
thank you
Films.
guys. Yeah, thank you.
Did the little movie, and you showcased it inside the barn, which is pretty badass. But then
sick.
all the badass food from Jeff and friend company.
Yeah.
I can't remember who all. Probably the whole team.
Jeff and Tyler.
I would say I can't remember who all cooked, but Jeff and Tyler cooking some amazing food. Had some amazing drinks. Remember Sheldon, his lady was serving, drinks
we had the
left
drinks,
and right.
the smoked apple cider bourbon.
All
thing.
that.
Yeah.
And then, your one buddy who played upstairs in the barn after you did some speaking. But the thing is getting that big fire going, but then burning that barrel.
Yep.
And all these people just standing around, intermingling, talking. And like you said, it's all these people from every walk of life who came to an event from a common denominator, you, which they knew. Some may not have. They might have just heard through the grapevine of what's going on.
Yeah.
Came to this event, had some good food, good drinks, listened to some good music, got to see an awesome film, hear you speak, see the side of the brand they didn't know, but they got to intermingle with other people.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. And for you, it wasn't about, the money. The money that you did charge went right back to everything that needed to happen for it. Whereas a lot of people put on, big showcased events. Oh, man, we can make a killing with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great, but you're losing insight of, well, why are we having an event? Are we having an event to make money? Or are we having an event to bring people together, to get together, to have conversations, have fun, and just have a good time? And anytime you did something, you were at an event, that's always what it was. Yeah. When people bought, they bought because, no different than anyone's probably been told, people buy an emotion or because they like someone and the interaction. They bought everything from you because of you. Yeah, you made a badass product, which helps, but they bought because of the conversations and the people you had around you at these events, and it was just like, this stuff's badass. Well, I don't even care if I smell it or what it does. this dude's awesome. This crew's awesome. I
Right.
want it.
Well, you said something earlier about money, and I thought, sort of half-heartedly about it, but, if you're making a killing, inevitably will kill the maker.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's any way out of that. I think there's nothing as special as when it's new. There's nothing as special as when you get that first thing or do that first thing or go to that first place. There's nothing as just alive as that. And that's what this will always be for me. Mm-hmm. This is what this has always been. It's just been a way to create life, to create positive, not that I would call it like positive energy, like, oh, everything's grand. I mean, like positive energy, like you can get through this.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why whatever you're dealing with in life, business owner or not, parent or not, spouse or not, whatever you're dealing with in life is equally as distressing and is equally as difficult to deal with as the next. It's just,
well, that's
how do you decide to respond to that, and how do you decide, and what do you decide to show to the public? Because there are sides to you that the public may never get to see.
that.
But you know what I mean? Like, but there may be sides that the public sees, and then all of a sudden that's you.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not all you. Maybe there's more to you.
Yeah, it's
And either way, it's okay.
very similar, like what my wife and I have been talking about recently. Really trying to heal ourselves, not because we're having issues, but we see the things in ourselves that we need to work on. And we want to do this for each other, our relationship, but also for our daughter, and then also, the betterment of anybody else. But, like I'll post like daily quotes on Instagram. I don't post a lot Instagram, say fuck you lately because I can't do anything on there anymore. All I can do is post, and that I can't share anything. I can't do anything anymore on it. I don't know what the hell.
Wow.
You post stuff. I can't share when you put our stuff up. Can't share it.
Well, we'll have to fix that.
I can't do anything. All the new things people are doing, can't do it. I have no idea. I've done all the
uninstalled it and reinstalled it?
All that.
Really?
Deleted it, all that, logged off, turned the phone off, but whatever. But what we were talking about is like posting those quotes is like a manifestation. I got hundreds of websites. I even got a little app, and I sadly have gone through this app so many times that almost all the quotes, it puts one up daily.
Yeah.
I've read. Like,
right.
It's not
right.
The people who make it aren't updated. So I got like a couple good ones for Stoics, specific authors. Today I put up a warrior quote, which I found fitting because in the 4 Agreements, towards the end, he talks about being a warrior. Okay. Yes, in a modern term, you were because you went off and fought.
Yeah.
I have not. I fought in a cage. A little different. That's by choice. We can think of
mine was by choice too.
Yes, very true. Warrior is a very big, broad term, but warrior in terms of the Toltecs and the ancient people is people fighting an internal battle with their demons.
Yep.
Meaning the things that we've been domesticated by, our upbringings, the things that Jeremy and I've talked about that have come from like the 11 past generations of our bloodlines.
Yeah.
All these things that have built up within the DNA, we are trying to be warriors to overcome that. And so my wife the other day was like, things you put out as a manifestation. It is because I'm hoping that by reading the things I read, the quotes I put, the things I try to do, that slowly the demons and things I need to improve upon, it will.
Yeah.
No different than the 4 Agreements. You see these things, you start with little small agreements.
Yeah.
And then you get a little bit more power. And then those big agreements, which are going to take a lot of effort, a lot of fighting between you and the devil and the angels, as he speaks of, then you accomplish one of those.
Yeah.
Boom. You got this agreement. And I think that's, a big aspect of, as you're saying, where is this energy going?
Yeah.
How's it going out to the people you don't see? And with social media, not everyone's going to show you the light, and then not everyone's going to show you the darkness.
Yeah, and not everybody can show you what they want to show you. A lot of times, we experience something like this with What More Could You Want with a podcast. I was putting banners on the bottom of the podcast forever just to show like, hey, this is a post about what more could you want. Well, we started to get dinged by YouTube or by Instagram for that. And so I had to pull that off. And as soon as I did, numbers immediately started going back up. So you just piggybacking on what you said there. Sometimes people can't get you the message. You know, sometimes it's very difficult to navigate these social media waters. And, you know, when you encounter hurdles every day, no matter how big or how small, if it's constant and they bring you stress, at some point you have to ask yourself, do I need to keep dealing with this? Like either as a business owner or personally with social media, this is stressing me out. Well, I hate this. I don't like what I'm doing. It's no fun, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so do I keep doing it and dislike it? Or do I just say, you know what, this is part of my whole grand decision to cut ties and shut it down?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that anymore. You know,
no, I've come close to that too, of, you know, like wanting to delete social media. And I've told you too before, I've gone through lately on Instagram. If you don't provide me value in what you're doing, I just don't follow you. And it's nothing personal. I used to follow, like, we got the Olympics going on. So I followed a lot of true Olympic lifters, men and women who are who have qualified currently or previously. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I like weightlifting. I love it. It's a big part of my life, but I don't need to see that left and right. I want things that now enrich my mind, my body, and my spirit. So finding more of those things. And then I got other stuff, you know, hobbies and things still too. But I'm trying to find those types of individuals or pages so that way when I'm scrolling through my social media, it is nothing but enrichment, not bullshit, not this, and this. And I'll give you a few tries. Maybe you're having a bad day on something, but then I'll look and I'm like, yeah, what effort, what do you bring back to the table?
Yeah.
You know, and people can say the same to me. If I don't, hey, that's fine. Don't follow me. You know, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Sure.
But it's those things of the social media realm's a hard realm to grasp because not everyone is as insightful to be able to put into words and context true emotion as they can with their voice.
Yeah.
You know, so for some people that's hard.
Well, if you think of social media as a toolbox or as another toolkit, like in your box, whatever, you know, in your trade of life or whatever, think of it like this: like, which parts in that toolbox do you really need? Mm-hmm. Do you want? Do you like to use? There's got to be some tools in there that just stink like old metal tools, and you don't want them anymore. Get rid of them, and maybe it'll allow you to have a sharper skill set, and maybe it'll allow you to spend less time trying to find what you're looking for in social media.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody, go through the people you follow, or as they pop up, as things pop up, I'm like, oh, who's this? Okay, look at their page. Okay, just, hey, you know, what are you putting out there to the world?
Yeah.
You know, I'd encourage you to do that because then when you get to your social media page, it is 10 times better to scroll and see like some cool quotes, positive thing, somebody on a podcast you follow, us, or like, you know, big name people, like their conversations, or maybe even your favorite athlete. Hey, it becomes a much more enjoyable thing. Whereas, you know, one of my previous jobs, social media was a part of our job, and it's like, okay, it became such a chore that the true intention I get social media can be used to make money. I understand that, you know.
Everything that we do in this country can be used to make money.
Yeah. But the true nature of what social media was created for was to stay truly in contact with people you didn't see often, family, friends. And then, oh, cool, I can follow my favorite actors and my favorite athletes and other people to see what they're doing. It all got taken out of context. And then it became, you know, for a lot of people, it's a chore. I got to do this, and this. Okay, well, then you're really taking away from what the true nature of the creation was.
Yeah.
You know, no different than if, you know, I told to read a book and all you do is sit and tear it apart and mark all over it and draw on it. Oh, look, it wasn't a coloring book. It was a book to read and retain and take in this information.
Yeah.
You completely just, you know, went against what it was designed for.
Well, and you could say the same, like what is regarding like what it was designed for, like us as people. It sure seems like we were designed to be in small to mild sized or medium sized groups or tribes and everybody does everything. Everybody's helping. And as I'll use the word evolved or progressed, we needed more things, so people got specific. So then we start charging money, and you're not bartering anymore, and it turns into this whole thing. Well, wouldn't it be nice if maybe you didn't have communication with everybody in the world all the time, because that makes you worry about everything in the world all the time? Wouldn't it be nice if maybe your world was you and, like, I don't know, 50 other people?
There are a few
know?
places. There's a community in India. I cannot remember its name. There's no government. There is no currency. These people just live by that. Cool. You can build. Great. I can do whatever.
Yeah.
It is an entire bartering society.
Yeah.
There's no currency, no nothing. Everyone helps everyone out.
So when did our evolution or our progression from that, Jeff, did it stop being progression and start being a stagnation or even a decline?
Hell, you'd have to find
You know what I
history
mean?
book when you can figure that out.
Because at some point, I really do think that our growth stifled our yearning for things.
So you're talking even before Jesus.
Yeah.
You're getting way back. So you're talking thousands of years
Oh, I'm just
ago.
talking.
Even Egyptians,
Yes.
because it became money. It took what they say how many billions it would cost to make the pyramids to this day and age, even with the technology and the machines we have.
Unfathomable.
Yeah. So you're talking maybe 10,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We are the smartest creatures potentially on this planet,
Sure.
but yet we are the stupidest creatures that have stepped foot on this place because of the things that we do.
We all continue to do the same damn things
And
every single
we
day.
get trapped in that. And, circling back to talking with my wife, she was listening to a podcast on the stairs before she was working out, and I'm like, hey, I'm driving. I can't read, so I was trying to read this in the truck before I came in and reading a few when we sat down. But, like, things that I can do to work on, and she's found some good podcasts to listen to lately for me too, and vice versa. But, like, sitting there and, you're just trying to see these things of what others do,
Yeah.
and what triggers you, what gets you going. And it's like, well, maybe just limit your time with those individuals that cause these triggers until you can, as we refer back to the 4 agreements, can diminish the demons. You can win over them and vanquish them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, easier said than done, because in certain parts in life, to some, that could be completely cutting an individual out of your life.
Sure.
So it becomes difficult, but it's seeing those things of using the things how you view the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can both walk outside, look exact at the same spot. What do you see? And we get 2 different definitions. Yeah. It can be rain. We'll just use a rainy day. Oh God, it's blah 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 rainy day, and here you're like, oh man, beautiful rainy day.
Right.
That water's so cool and crisp. Here you are, and I'm sitting here, bitching about the rain. It's, what are you putting out, and what are you seeing?
Mm-hmm.
As I'm going to refer back to the 4 agreements because
it's wonderful. Yeah.
Our day-to-day lives are a dream. It's a living dream. When you sleep, you have a different type of dream. You do pretty much have control over your living dream and what you see. Yeah. If we sit out there and it's a rainy day and you're like, man, beautifulness, you're controlling your response to say, oh man, this is a crappy day, it's rain, blah, 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 rant and rave and bitch and moan. You control the insights to change that dream. Yes, you can't go, rain's gone, but you're like, it's been really hot and humid. God, we need the rain. The grass, the trees, plants are all going to love it. And man, does that rain feel good. It's so cool and cold coming down from the sky.
Right.
You control that dream, that day to day, and how you want it to portray out. And that's the hard thing, that we get so wrapped up in these old ways, as you're saying, like, if we're trying to jump back in the time of when did we lose this bartering to...
Or, the small tribes. Yeah.
Because we just keep running in circles.
Well, we keep making more and needing more and wanting more. And it's like it's this never-ending cycle. And, right now we're seeing really the beginning of what could be a huge downward spiral of people that just don't want to make that stupid shit that you want anymore. No. Or they don't want to sell you the fucking food that you want to eat anymore. They're over it.
We're I think right now, and the way things are going, this is just my interpretation. Society is the snake eating its own tail.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, this just hit me as a tattoo idea. So I was like, this is pretty cool. But to have, this you guys can look up. I don't know the actual term of the snake eating its tail. There's an actual name for it, but yes, it's a circle, but the snake can go nowhere because eventually he'll have so much of himself inside and he stops.
Yeah.
He can't eat himself.
Yeah.
The only way to break his loop is he has to not eat his tail and continue on. And it's just like that. This was like just laughing at myself thinking about this, but like it seems society lately is just in this loop of trying to eat itself versus realizing we have to break this endless loop circle, crack it, and start slowly creating a new circle of a new wave in a better way, in a better dream, a better manifestation of tomorrow.
Well, it's what sucks is no, I guess it doesn't suck. It's what's beautiful about it is this is all held at the individual level.
Yes,
that's where the world's dream and our dreams meet. Is at an individual level, and what the world wants to happen and what you want to happen. That's up to you. And then you start mixing in other people's wants, and then you start you feeling guilty because they're not getting what they wanted, so you give up everything you want. It cycles, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, just like Jeff says, you're eating your own fucking tail, and you don't know why, and you don't like how it tastes, but you just keep doing it because that's what you do. You're a snake that loves to eat its tail.
You have to be aware. And it's the hardest part of trying to better yourself is catching yourselves, as we talked before, in those moments of shit, I did it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Like it's slowing down internally, like as we said, versus reaction and compassion. It's the hard part. It really is.
Well, and a good way to be able to circumnavigate that and sort of lessen the time between your moments of realization or actualization or awareness or whatever, is to have a friend, like what I talked about earlier, my buddy George that I served with, have a friend that will no shit listen to you with open ears and a warm heart and a hug if you need it, but also tell you, hey, man, like what you're doing right now is not helpful for yourself. Mm-hmm. And God damn, we need that. You need to be more accountable for yourself, but you also need to, in that same accountability, make sure that the people that you're surrounding with yourself want to be held accountable.
Yeah, not everybody does.
No, and if you're surrounding yourself with people that don't want to be accountable for the things they say or do, or feel like they can say and do anything and not be held accountable, how are they making you any better? It's just feeding you bullshit every time. But do you confide in them and what they tell you? Do you trust them? Mm-hmm. I would say probably no if you're really honest with yourself. So what are you doing? You're wasting their time and yours. Pull the fucking Band-Aid off, man.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week. Pull the fucking Band-Aid off. But, I'm lucky. I've got a friend that, since 1997, 98-ish, for whatever reason, we can say anything to each other and it will help.
Yeah.
It's never, ever been judgmental or ugly or anything other than that. And I'm just realizing how special it is to have a relationship like that, for both parties.
Yeah.
And for the other people in their lives, because it's got to reverberate on throughout their energy into their families. And I know, after he left, when I dropped him off at the airport on Monday morning, which was just yesterday, for us here today, in backward land, it made my day.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, man, if we wouldn't have taken the time out of our quote unquote busy schedules, if we wouldn't have done the work it took to get him here, we wouldn't be experiencing that. And if I was knee deep in barrel and couldn't get away from it because we'd grown so much that it was just a self-eating snake, mm-hmm. or a self-licking ice cream cone, or whatever analogy you want to make, that would suck. I couldn't do it. And it's just more important to me now than anything else is to be able to make sure that same level of friendship and commitment is reverberated through my family and with other friends that mean a lot to me. And I cannot do that if I'm worried about making money.
Yeah.
So I'm going to retire. Like I said, I'm done. I'm going to retire. I'm going to stick with this, and I'm going to enjoy whatever it is that I do.
But the thing is, you can always open that door back up and go back.
Oh, 100%.
And that's the cool
and
thing.
it'd probably be better having done that.
Well, yeah.
You know, get a little time. And
a lot of businesses, owners step down in a sense and somebody else takes over. Like, you can look at Jobs. Left Apple, came back, and then
yeah,
boom.
Holy cow.
Now look at him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's passed for several years now, but it's kind of in that scenario. No one is taking your reins, but you're stepping back, gonna kind of diminish the flame, turn it down.
Yeah.
In time, you can reignite it, and it can be a whole nother, entity in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's it's a very surreal. It doesn't feel legitimate yet, but it will very soon. I'm making damn sure of that. I don't know how many other people out there have struggled with decisions like this, but I'd love to hear from you in comments if you have, and what you did, and what you really got from it. Good, bad, or indifferent. I hate to use the word regret, but if you feel like you wish you would have done something different, share it. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
I'd love to read it. Yeah. So that's that, man. It's been an amazing week for me. One of a lot of clarity that I've been fighting for and struggling for a long time. And now I've finally, gotten to a point where I feel very comfortable to make decisions that mean something and that are going to affect a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the decision.
Good.
And like I said, I think everybody will know prior to this coming out. And I apologize that this has dominated our discussion today. I know Jeff didn't really know what he was walking into today, so
oh, never mind. It doesn't bother me. So
yeah. So anyway, I'm sure we'll dabble in some more discussion about this, but I really want to focus hard and heavy on what it takes to even get to where Jeff is, or where I am, or where anybody wants to go. What it takes to make the first step, and then make it again and make it again. And then you make the first and second step and make it again and again. And then all of a sudden you can move on to the third step. But, stop thinking that we got to get to step 7, 8, 9, and 10 before we've ever completed 1 and 2. Like, we've all got very fragile foundations. We prove it on a daily basis. Just watch the news. I know the news likes to show you what they want to show you, but it's out there.
Yeah.
It's happening. It may not be the only thing that's happening. Maybe the only thing they're showing you, but it's bad enough that it's happening in that isolated incident, and they've got to show you.
Absolutely.
So, man, it's time for me to start a new chapter in my life. It's time for
That's
me
what life is, man. It's a book of many chapters. One closes next, but it doesn't mean just like any book. Like, I'm rereading the 4 Agreements. You can always go back to certain aspects of your life to reopen it, to dabble back in it, and kind of start a sub chapter of where you left off.
Take notes.
Yeah, there you go.
Take notes along the way, people. Whether that's, literally like you like to journal, or mentally you just hang on to little tidbits, those lessons, those times where you said, man, why am I doing this? Who am I trying to impress, or what am I trying to make of this?
Mm-hmm.
When am I going to realize that I already have everything in me to be happy?
Yeah.
That's, somebody asked me, I think it was my mom, she asked me, in not too distant past, she said, you made a lot of people happy, and you like to make people happy. She said, but what makes you happy?
Mm-hmm.
And it stopped me dead in my tracks, because I was like, well, that's easy.
That's a hard question for many to
well, I
ask themselves.
like what I do with Barrel. Well, that's other people. I like seeing my kids happy. That's other people. I like, my wife, is in a good mood and we're getting along. Okay, well, that's other people. Like, there's, you have to really figure out how can you just be resolute and firm but peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
It's that whole stoicism thing. And I think that's what I've got a lot of work to do on now. It's like, okay, now that I'm hanging up that or closing that book or whatever, I'm going to have some extra time. I'm going to have things to, to do at my own pace. And I really, it's going to be a journey.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very new for me. I'm not used to this, nor is anybody when they retire. So
stay busy. You will.
Yeah. Oh, you know it, man. Heck, I'm taking my daughter to driver's ed. I'm taking my son to the library. I'm going back to pick him up after we're done here. I got to get the yard cut. I stay busy. In fact, I stay so busy, I don't know how I would ever get anything accomplished if I was working a 9 to 5. I don't know how anybody does it. Because, I say that, but I know how they do it. You have to sacrifice time that you spend with your kids and your family.
Sacrifices other avenues.
Spouse or your partner. That's not something that I'm willing to do anymore. But I'm very fortunate in that I'm retired. And financially, I don't have to. Do I like nice things? Sure. But am I pretty settled into how great I have it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You better believe it, man. You better fucking believe it. I'll be that self-licking ice cream cone all day long now. I'll be fucking happy with it, dude. I'm loving life, man. And I know that these moments where you can get some good clarity and you're feeling great, they really need to be cherished. And I'm cherishing it because I know that next week I might get hit with something.
Yeah.
AC goes out again or whatever. There's going to be something that hits me, or a relationship goes awry for whatever reason. And that's when you have to be able to come back to this and say, listen, it will get better.
Yeah.
But this is just part of the work.
Yeah. It's part of the just bumpy road that comes with it.
It is, man. It really is.
Not every road in the world is paved. Remember that.
And remember, for every action, there is an equal or greater reaction. So I close this chapter. I fully expect somebody else to open theirs.
Yeah.
And I hope to hear about it. And I hope that
share it with us, like you said.
You come and just tell me one day that maybe we helped you get over a hump, and you'll make my day. So anyway, you guys have helped make a lot of days for me. And I hope that Jeff and I can continue to help make a lot of days for y'all. And until next time, I think that's that.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Jeff, for being here.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure.
Right. Peace, guys. Love you. We'll see you next time.